Hello, everyone. Welcome to another fabulous make and take, I guess, with me, Nilay Patel. I'm a designer here at Jesse James Beads, always bringing you guys fun, inspirational, cool projects using the ever fabulous Jesse James Beads. It is always a pleasure bringing you new ideas and certainly new ways to use the beads. And I was excited about today is Thursday. This would have been Monday's project. So let me show you what we made. We made this beautiful tassel necklace, and what we did was this was sort of my inspiration, the see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil monkey pendant, and I just thought he was so cool, and I wanted to stick him with a little pop of red, so we added this beautiful lotus component, this lotus pendant, and then we used some beads from Emperador collection, which I really love. And we ended it with this beautiful leather tassel from Leather Cord USA, all of which is on a leather or a suede piece of rope here. And we used these little crimps at the end. So really easy design, and I love all the different textures and this really statement piece that's in the middle. So I thought this was a great idea. You guys should definitely go check it out. You can find these tutorials and more on www.jessejamesbeads.com. Just go to the video tutorial section and you'll find a ton of video tutorials in there. And you can also find us on YouTube. So just go to youtube.com and search for Jesse James Beads, and you will definitely find us and a ton of inspirational videos. And so this brings me to today's project. I thought I would take inspiration from, let's see if I can grab it. From my tutorial yesterday with beads and bubbles. We learned how to make this beautiful little earring with Halsted components, and lucky for us, Jesse James Beads is carrying the hoop earrings, and we learned how to wire wrap beads across to create a really fun, cool bohemian style earring, and even put a tassel at the end. So I was inspired by this, and I thought this would be great to try with one of the collections. And so I'm going to flip the camera over, and I am using this beautiful red bead collection that I am oohing and awing over. I haven't used it yet in any of the tutorials, so this should be fun. All right, I'm going to flip this camera around. Go. And immediately you could see what I'm talking about. This is the chili oil, chili oil design elements. And in here, there are a ton of options to work with. They're all different sized ones, but for the most part, they're kind of small. So this was perfect for the earring design. And so I have a hoop earring all ready to go. Again, these are all these materials that I'm using you can find on the Jesse James Beads website. So pretty easy for a one-stop shop. But I'm using 26 gauge wire. You can find this anywhere as well. It's just standard craft wire. And to create our little pattern, which let me show you guys again, we're going to start in the middle of the hoop earring. And we're just going to wrap it a few times. And I'm going to use a shorter end of the wire to wrap it, I think. I'm just going to do that a couple times, just like that. You can leave the wire standing out, or pointing out, I guess I should say, so that's perfectly okay. We're going to trim it off later anyway. And I kind of started to, my first process for this was to figure out a pattern. And so I kind of laid out some beads here on the side that would maybe go well together. And certainly you could do anything that you want. I even have some wooden seed beads out here at the sides that I thought would work really well as well with this design. But as you can see, I just kind of, that kind of works together for me. So I think I'm going to string that and see where this goes. And millions of combinations to try with this, especially as many beads as you do get with it, with these collections, the design elements. And so I'm going to string those on, and we are going to measure. So you're going from side to side, so it looks like it's going to be a pretty good fit right about there. So while holding everything in place, and you do want to make sure wherever you start that your hook part is on the top, so you might have to adjust it a little bit to get it to slide into the right area. And then you simply just coil the wire around around the hoop there. What I do is I kind of do a coil and then I just pull on the wire a little bit to give it a nice taut tension, I guess, there. Do that again. So the number of wraps depends on the size of your bead, and only because you want to lay things flat and not have things overlap. So I probably want to create wraps enough to hit where that is, which it looks like it's going to be at least a couple more. Hopefully that makes sense. You want it to be the size of the bead. And then maybe even a little bit more because you're compensating for half the size of the type of beads that you'll be putting on in the next row. So I will actually even have to go down farther to make it wrap correctly. And I like to keep my wraps really nice and tight. So as you can see, the way that I'm holding it, I'm actually pressing my thumb over it and just making sure that things are lined up correctly and pressing it all together as I go along. Pretty easy. Again, we like easy techniques, right? And what more could you want than decorating these beautiful hoops? Cool, so you can see that I'm giving myself a pretty generous gap there, and that's because I'm going to add these pink beads next. And they almost look coral. It's kind of astonishing. Like, it's got a beautiful little sheen to it, too. So I'm going to add those 3 in and see where this lands. Hopefully that they will line up correctly the way that I want it. Oops. There we go. Not too bad. It's kind of a little bit of a squeeze, but that's okay. I think I can make this work. So again, holding it in place, I'm just going to wrap it around. And this wire is so thin that it almost acts like string. And so when you pull it, it does pull everything else with it as well, which is great. But unlike string, you don't have to tie it later. So I appreciate that about it. So here again, I'm just going to wrap this. Whoops, sometimes you'll get a kink, but that's okay. Don't pull those, just try and work them out. There we go. And basically you'll just continue your wraps. At the bottom there, I just have a little bit of a gap. So you could either add a bead there, which is what I might do. Since I have all these beautiful beads in front of me, why not dabble in that and see what we can get out of it. And I cannot wait to add this tassel at the end too. I definitely want to use one of those flower petal ones. I love that they come in different sizes as well in the different collections. This miniature one is just, I'm oohing and awing over these. These are just so beautiful. Cool. Okay, so I think I could just need a couple more wraps, and then I didn't really plan on which bead is going to go there at the bottom. So we're going to just kind of make this up as we go along. Here we go. Sweet. All right. So I wonder what bead should go down here. We could add this beautiful little rose, give it a 3-dimensional look. That one's kind of interesting. I know I said probably not about not trying to overlap anything, but let's just see what this looks like. That might be a little bit too big. I don't think that works as much as I wanted it to. That's okay though. We can always take it back out and put it back on again. And again, I have some seed beads laying out here to the side, so let me try stringing a few of those and see where that goes. These are just like wooden ones that I've had, which again, you can use practically anything, even if it's from the collection. There we go. Sometimes the seed beads just help to kind of fill in that space that's harder for a larger bead to fit in. And I don't need very many anyways. So that's probably good. Could probably do like one less on that. There we go. Put that out to the side. So now whenever you do your last wraps, you just kind of want to finish it off the rest of the hoop as much as you can. So let me get this kind of straightened out and I'll show you what I mean. So as you can see, that kind of lined up there at the bottom. And so now I just want to go ahead and wrap the rest of this together. Just as a finishing touch. You don't really have to because the other sides aren't as consistent, but it does just, in my opinion, maybe finish it off a little bit more. Now, I have a ton of wire to work with that I really don't need, and it's kind of getting on my nerves. So I think I'm going to trim it with some cutters that I have here on the table. and just work with that instead. That should be plenty and help this to go a little bit faster. But don't throw the wire away, because you could definitely use it, and I'll show you how to attach the that little beautiful little tassel that we have, because we still need to do that. So what I like about it is that we don't have to waste any materials, and you guys know how I feel about that. Especially if we're paying for all these tools and supplies and materials, why not use them up to the max, right? So it looks like that's halfway done. Just a little bit more wrapping to go. But this is, again, just a really pleasant, easy technique that I love doing. You can go relatively fast with this and have a pair of earrings done in no time. And again, it depends on your intricacy. So I only created 3 rows. And in the example that I showed you that we made for beads and bubbles, we used 5 rows. And I think I had a mixture of different Swarovski crystals and things that I found on my travels. Just different beads. So it's great for odds and ends as well if you have those lying around. Or just, if you don't have too many seed beads to weave with, then that's a great way to use them up. So it looks like I'm at the end here, and I think I just need like maybe one more wrap to finish this off. All I'm doing then is just going to trim the wire, and I want to use my Xuron cutters because they're more precise. Oh, where did they go? Let's use these today. I have them handy. I'm just going to use some flush cutters. I'm actually testing out some new pliers for cutting wire, so stay tuned on that. Once I test it out and determine that I think they'll be perfect for you guys, then I will be using them nonstop on the Jesse James Beads channel. All right, I'm just using my, actually these are crimpers, but they have a chain nose tip. And you guys, if you've seen the other videos that I've made, you know how much I love to use them. So that's pretty much it. I just want to now trim and tuck that as well. So just trim that as close as I can, and then just tuck real quick into there. And there we go. Nice pair of earrings. They kind of bend down, which is perfectly fine. I kind of like that look of it. If it's a little off center, just I think it's pushable. There we go. Yep. You just push it out to the side. So pretty cool. All right. So I have that little piece of wire that I cut, right? So why don't we use that to create a little wire wrap tassel? Here it is. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this imperfectionistly. I don't know if that's a word. I just want it to look a little messy, I guess, is my bottom line. I don't want it to be too perfect because that's boring, right? And I'm going to string that on. What I did was I just strung it onto my hoop, bent it in half, and now I'm just stringing it onto the little tassel there. And I just want to use the rest of the wire to create a very randomized coil, excuse me. Around and around. Doesn't have to be perfect, which is awesome. If I'm especially on the go, I think this is a great idea. You can also make the wire wrap part as thick or small of a coil as you want, or even random. I mean, that's pretty precise for someone who's just coiling randomly, but you get the idea. Like, it could just be a really nice little accent piece and complement the silver coils that are going on over here, and it continues to the bottom. So just one of those little design touches that I think is kind of fun and interesting. And you just simply just take your pliers and bend in the little loop there. If a little part of the wire is sticking out, just go ahead and bend that back up into the coil as well, just hiding everything as much as possible. And you're pretty much ready to go. Pretty cute pair of earrings, I must say. So I think I'm going to try and finish up the other one, and I will take a photo for you guys. So let me pop this camera back up. There we go. All right. So that was a fun little technique, I think, and I certainly enjoyed using different beads with you could see the difference there. You see the earrings that I made at a different time, and then quickly how I made it with the Jesse James Beads chili oil mix. and maybe a few of my own little seed beads just for fun. But I encourage you guys to go out and use your imagination, because you never know what fabulous things you will come up with. So I'm excited to finish that one up. All right, so if you enjoyed this tutorial, definitely check out more on www.jessijamesbeads.com in the video tutorial section, as well as youtube.com, and just search for Jessie James Beads on there and you'll find hundreds, maybe not quite hundreds, but we're definitely getting there with all these amazing fun tutorials that we're doing. You can also find us on Instagram, so definitely check that out and like us. And my brand, you can find on there as well. Let's see if I've got I just released some new mystery boxes. There's 10 left on my Etsy site, nilaypatel.etsy.com. But aside from mystery boxes, I do tutorials once a month, and I pick out a project. It's the last Wednesday of every month. It's a creative beading happy hour is what I've branded this as. So Beads and Bubbles, check it out. I'm on Facebook as well as Instagram. And until next time, guys, I guess I have a few things coming up, so I probably won't see you until next Thursday. But stay tuned. Lots to come, lots to plan, lots to make. Always excited. And keep it creative, keep it fun, keep it fabulous. And we love you guys, so keep creating. All right, catch you again soon. Bye.